Well, welcome. It's that time of year again where we want to let everybody except my darling bride know the real details of Tastes of the Town, or Taste of the Towns.
That's it.
One of the greatest nights here, one of the most fun nights. And for everybody else, September 10th at 6 o'clock. I always tell Sharon 6:30. That way I get a half an hour start and I get to eat all the stuff I'm not supposed to eat before she gets there.
Right.
But let's start talking about the auxiliary and, you know, the other things that you do. But let's first start with an introduction.
I'm Grace Lavelle. I'm treasurer of the Milford Regional Medical Center Auxiliary and ticket chair for the Taste of the Towns.
And I'm Andra Stone, president of the auxiliary, and I'm in charge of getting the restaurants and getting the whole night together.
And lots of things.
Lots.
Mike Cooper, vice president of the auxiliary, and I've helped with the raffle packages and the sponsors, and I will help with the advertising also.
Now, as a backdrop, I've just had the most wonderful experience. It's amazing. You talk about the Regional Medical Center and everything it brings. Till you experience it, you know, my grandchild was born Monday morning at 3:45 a.m. and I was amazed at how well the staff could put up with the medical requirements, but the cultural issues that a Portuguese family brings. You know, when the poor nurse goes to those doors and looks at the army standing there, and it's like, okay, you realize this won't happen right away. It's like,
Right.
okay, we're here. We'll take over the waiting room. But, you know, it could be like hours or till tomorrow, and everybody's like,
Oh, yeah.
oh yeah, it's okay. It's a family event. We're here. If it takes days, we'll send takeout. Just truly, truly a wonderful experience. And yes, we give credit to Frank and Ed for bringing the technology in. But a lot of credit to Uncle Phil for picking the right people that just make this such a wonderful group. So my hat is tipped to all of you for helping them.
Thank you.
And now we start with, why do we have an auxiliary?
Auxiliary has been in existence for a long time, and it used to be just the ladies. And fortunately, in the last few years, I was able to bring some men to join the auxiliary, and Mike is our vice president in charge of membership, has been a big plus to us. But he's not the only one. We have Jack Kelly, who is also handling all the publicity for Taste of Towns, and we have Bob Cole, who worked part-time and is now helping us as much as he can too. So we're introducing new things and introducing a lot, and Mike can tell you more about that afterwards. But what does the auxiliary do? We try to do things that's going to help the hospital. We raise funds for maybe their budget is a little bit short. During the course of the year, things come up that hadn't been budgeted, and so we're out there doing lobby sales, doing raffles, doing Taste of Towns to raise
really,
money.
all the activities you do are to help the hospital staff get things that they need for patients that they normally would either have to wait longer for or just couldn't squeeze into a budget?
Exactly.
Absolutely,
That's exactly,
absolutely.
yep.
And it's also to the benefit of the patient as well. For example, as simple as it sounds, Mike was more involved than I was, but they wanted new remote controls for the television because they used to have to go. They couldn't just put in channel 7 or 5. They had to go through the whole series of numbers.
They had to sequence up or sequence down.
Oh, you're talking to somebody who had to go to channel 98 times to get my mother the Portuguese channel.
Right,
Right.
right.
You know, so yeah, we remember very well.
So now you can enter 98 and you're right there.
Yeah.
It's also a call button. It's a combination remote call
Right.
button.
Yeah, but things like
for
that, when you think
all of the
about it,
rooms.
they're in the hospital. It's not you don't go there for a pleasant, it's not your Myrtle Beach.
That's right.
That's right.
I'm going there
That's
on
right.
vacation.
Right.
So I'm not so happy to be there in the first place. A lot of times I'm not so comfortable. So, you know, I remember I shouldn't say silly because it demeans the worth, but something as silly as a warm blanket. I remember how much it
Love that warm
meant
blanket.
when
Yeah.
my mother went in and her legs were cold. You know, now she's 91, but she had cold legs. When they brought her a nice warm blanket, now you can't go to an Ed Kelly and say, well, excuse me, we don't need that surgical equipment. We need a warm blanket maker.
Right, right.
Yep.
You know, an incubator more for blankets than for anything. But
And we did it.
you did it
That's right.
outside the budget. And my mother got warm legs, which calmed her down when she was sitting in the ER.
We've bought a lot of extra wheelchairs. We've bought devices to help nurses move patients. So it's, you know, it's a lot of things that obviously helps the nurses, helps the staff there, but also helps the patients. We've also invested smaller amount of money in DVD players that might amuse children that are waiting there for a parent, or even if they're in the hospital themselves. So they have games to play and things to do. So anything that can make things run smoother. Like you said, your experience was good. We want everybody's experience to be good in the hospital.
And again, I mean, if your mom's there or your dad's there, and you're going to be there most of the day, having the ability to watch the Minions and keep busy,
Right.
Oh, yes.
right?
Yeah.
Yep.
You
Yeah.
can't really say I don't need this equipment as much as I need to watch the Minions.
Right.
But the tension, if mom or dad have to be running around trying to
Right,
keep the child.
right.
It works for them, sure.
Yeah.
But it's not in the budget, so that's what we come up with. They
Yeah.
come to us, they request it, we review it, and we do it.
Now there's a big display, so I don't have to wander around the hospital trying to find places and wonder what's going on.
That's right.
Well, yeah, yeah. We're
Talk-
back to that display we're talking about at the
Yes.
front. Yeah. Well, you will. You'll find out what's going on with the auxiliary. Like I said, I've been really watching it. It talks about the auxiliary. It's talking about Taste of the Towns. It talked about our raffle that we had last week. And it's really working that way. And then she said, like she said, there's different things that are going on in the hospital that's aside from that. In the departments, I notice they're showing a nurse tending to a child, or an older person they're tending to the person in a department. You know, so it is very interesting if you stop and look at it.
I'm going to
you
just
know?
say, because I don't think we said
Right.
what it was to the audience and maybe watching the show.
Oh, that's right, we were
that
talking about
it-
that.
In the lobby and going into the cafeteria, two big screen TVs,
Flat
if you will,
screen, flat screen
screens.
monitors.
And
The display.
yeah, they're displaying the things that Grace was talking about, and it keeps moving so that you can see what's going on in the hospital and keep in tune to things, so that when modernizing, you don't have to go to a piece of paper and say what's going on.
They used to have easels all over the place with posters.
Yeah.
And, you know, this has alleviated the need for those.
And it
a
also
nice
Thumbs up,
addition.
taking them
right,
down at the end.
yeah. But it's more than that, because it also shows the new equipment in some areas, what's
Right.
going on with some of the robotics and different things. So
Mm-hmm.
it's a good learning tool for people that are coming into the hospital, and they can instantly
but-
see it because it's right in the
You know, there
lobby.
you go. There's a few $1,000s that would be hard pressed to squeeze out of a tight budget.
Right.
But like the remote controls, if I don't have to hit 91 times, up, up, up.
Oh, yeah.
Then you
Yeah.
get there and it's like, oh, now you want to go to what?
Right.
I hate Fox News, minus. I got to get to channel 42.
I guess Al has been there when that.
Oh, yeah.
Oh, yeah. Well, I think we all have at one time or another.
You know,
you know.
or
So
it's
these
Sunday
remotes
and
are working.
somebody wants to watch Mass. You can't pick them up, take them out of the hospital down
Right.
to the
But
church,
you can get
Yeah.
mass.
but you can get Mass on local TV, and now I don't have to hit the button.
Another thing we approved money for recently was in the gift shop. They wanted more modern technology for tracking the inventory, because it was all being done manually, and doing a better job with the register, because it was all having to plug everything
I
in.
work in the
And
gift
so we just invested in that as well. So there's a lot of things that we're able to do.
Let's
Right
take
back
us.
to the whiteboards, too. Yeah, but the whiteboards were
Yeah.
something we wanted.
Yeah, all the patient rooms now have a larger whiteboard that will provide patient information, the nurse on duty, the nurse's aide on duty, any relevant information. Very good for the visitors to quickly get up to speed on things related to that patient.
Let's take a side track. Talk to me about Taste of the Towns.
With pleasure, with pleasure. This is our 10th year of doing Taste of Towns. The first couple of years it was held in the hospital, in the cafeteria, and then we moved on to the Portuguese Club, and we're sort of starting to outgrow the Portuguese Club.
I was gonna say, it was pretty crowded last year.
Yeah, and this year we expect a really big crowd.
This is our 10th annual.
This is our
10th.
10th. yes,
Our
it is.
10th.
Yeah.
And every year when we sell raffle tickets, 50/50, and tickets to the event, the money is dedicated to something for the hospital. We do not keep a penny. It all gets turned right into the hospital. And this year, we're honoring our retiring CEO, Frank Saba, by having a dedication to a behavioral health room in the new expansion. So we're excited about that. It's bringing a lot more interest with
it sure
people.
is, yeah.
The hospital
Getting telephone calls
employees
from everyone.
are really excited to go because everyone likes him and they want to honor him. So that's a tribute to us. But to be successful, we have to have good restaurants. So my job was going out and contacting, not just in Milford, but in all the towns around. And you're going to run them later, I believe, so everybody can get a feel for the restaurants that are going to be there.
So now, how many people, because you limit how many tickets you sell?
We're talking about 350, okay? I mean, we don't want it to be too crowded, but we know we're going to have a crowd. So we're talking 350, maybe we can squeeze more in, but.
But part of the fun of going there is
The crowd.
The crowd.
The
You
crowd,
you
yeah.
get to see all your neighbors,
Yeah,
your
yeah.
friends.
Right,
People you don't see
right.
maybe for 1 year the next, right? It's, hi, how you doing? And,
But you know, you
yeah.
get to just walk around and talk to all the people. But I mean, you know, picture a big U, the whole length, and both
Yep.
across and lengthwise of the Portuguese Club, filled with 25 restaurants.
20.
20?
20.
20 restaurants that I can just go.
And just taste.
This is an unlimited buffet here.
Yes, it is.
I
Yes,
never get
it
through
is.
all of that. They always seem to win because the problem with the restaurants you pick is one is better than the next is better.
Yeah, they're all
They're all-
very good.
and they're all
They have-
different, what they bring in. Last year, for the first time, one of the restaurants brought in all gluten-free, which opened the doors to a different audience that wasn't able to sometimes taste the food, so they were thrilled, and they're going to come back and do that again. So in addition to that, in part of the area, we do raffles, which we start a week or so before the event. We have probably 60, 65 raffle baskets, each one worth minimum of 100, plus some bigger items too that we're lucky enough to receive from people. We also run a 50-50. And I just want to say, because they're not here tonight, the person in charge of the raffles, Mike, was in the beginning stages of it, getting it together, and now putting the baskets together, in charge of that, making sure they're on display everywhere, is Janice Cuniff. The 50-50 is Linda Hurd. She's taken over the responsibility of that. And the publicity for all of it is with Jack Kelly. So we have a team, and we meet quite often and plan the night.
We've also done sponsorships this year, bigger than normal. And we've raised almost $4,000 just in sponsorship cash.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
The sponsors over and above all the raffles.
One thing we haven't mentioned is the amount of money we've given to the new edition,
Right.
based on primarily on the Taste of the Town
Well,
revenue.
some of it was, but a lot of
Yeah.
it was from raffles and vendors. In 1 year, we donated all the money to the building fund last year, wasn't it?
Yes.
Yeah, and we have given over $50,000 in about 3 years.
$50,000?
$50,000.
For the
In
new
addition
edition.
to everything else that
In
we
addition
do.
to the other things, yeah.
That's a lot of tastes.
Yeah, yeah.
Well, yeah, but that's the vendors we have and the raffles we have all year round.
So now, out of the 20 restaurants, how many are in Milford?
Oh, wow, I hadn't stopped and counted that.
Is it half, three-quarters?
Probably half, maybe a
So
little bit
half the
more.
restaurants are not in Milford. So new places to try.
That's right, that's right,
I mean, some of them, the Wanacoras, and oh yes,
yeah,
you got to go there just because you
Right.
go there all the time.
right.
Why don't you tell us some of the, if you can remember, some of the restaurants that have been
I
a
had-
long time.
Well, Alicante, Oliva's, Restaurant 45. We do a couple of grocery stores, and people say,
That amazed
Yeah,
me
that
when
was-
but they are wonderful. They are wonderful. Price Chopper, Hannaford's. We did last year, and we're doing it again this year, Atria Place, and that was another one. People said, well, that's a nursing home. Why? When they came and the food that they brought, people were saying, could we go there and eat? It was wonderful. I mean, they got wonderful reviews.
Well, initially you're saying, okay, this is like airplane food.
Yeah.
Right,
Right?
right.
Delicious.
And then all of a sudden you
not.
try it.
One of my favorites last year.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I mean, come on, let's face it. Carla or Gina show up. It's a given. It's
Right.
Oliva's.
You know it's
It's going to be
Right.
great.
Yeah.
Right.
I mean, it's been at least a week and a half since I had Oliva's.
Oh,
You know, it's going to be fantastic.
Right, right.
Alicante, I mean, 45. These are staples.
yes,
Right.
The-
I've got, I'm going to say
Do we have
British
three?
beer.
3 in Franklin too?
At Restaurant
British
3.
beer?
Yeah,
Yeah.
they're coming in with hors d'oeuvres.
You just said.
Yeah, Restaurant 3.
Restaurant 3 in Franklin.
Bamboo Express is a new one that's coming with some of they're from Bellingham. We've got Berry Bonbon coming from Holliston with yogurt, fresh yogurt. I don't want to forget
have a list.
anybody.
I
Little
know it.
White Market,
They were there last year.
yes. And then we have Dinner and Company, J&L's catering service, Junior's Diner. And I've probably forgotten some. Please
Well, we'll
read
run
the
the
list
credits
if
at
I
the
have.
end.
Yeah,
but,
I mean-
they're all and they're wonderful to deal with, and they're more than happy to come. And they do, a lot of them do a lot of tastes in different towns, but they said Milford is by far their favorite. And we're fortunate enough with the Portuguese Club that the majority of people get to sit. I've gone to a few just to see what they're like, and a lot of them you just walk around and you never get a
You don't know
chance
what
to
do
sit
with your-
down.
Yeah, she and
Well,
I.
You're
wait a
standing
minute.
at a cocktail
I want the
table or
deluxe ticket, the one where I can enjoy my food.
That's-
If I've got to stand up for the whole time, actually, my darling bride would probably be happier because if I stand up, I won't stay as long.
Oh, well, you
Might
have
not
other
eat
people
as
to
much
talk
either.
to.
Well, it's
All the
not
seats
just-
there are sitting down, so.
Yeah.
It's so nice just to sit, relax,
Yeah.
nosh,
Yeah, it
and
is.
then you get to scope out and say, okay, the
Right.
next trip is over there.
Well, we're going to put some high-top tables in the bar area this year too, so that people who are in that area have a place to put a drink down or
Yeah,
put
we
food
need-
if
we
they
need to add a few
prefer.
more tables this year.
So,
Well, that's
We
wonderful.
would like people
Yeah.
to be comfortable and able to sit, so.
So
Let's
September,
see.
September 10th,
10th, it's
6
different
o'clock,
this year.
Thursday. We rotate so that different hospital staff that might work one night get to come another year.
so
So we try to
Thursday
give them-
night, 6 p.m.,
September
Yeah.
10th.
September 10th.
Portuguese Club.
And if Sharon, if you
Prospect
do
Heights.
listen, 6:30 for you, because I want my half hour to go nosh on all the stuff I'm not supposed to eat.
I want to go back to when they announced they were going to do the expansion. The auxiliary was the very first group that said, we will try to help you. And we gave them the first check.
We gave my first check. I think it was 10,000, then we
Yeah,
added
I mean, it was
5.
minimal, but we were the
had-
first
we
one
had
that
money
stepped
in the
up.
I am
budget,
thoroughly impressed that it's up to 50. That's amazing.
Plus the
Yeah.
other things. that
Well,
we've
it's
done.
50, not counting the
Yeah.
warm blankets, the monitors, the
That's right.
whiteboards.
The remote control.
But Mike can tell you too, it helps with all the members.
Yeah, the membership has grown over the last few years. We're at 70 folks
Wow.
altogether. Active members as part of that, 35, 40 active members.
Well, that's impressive that 50%.
Yes.
Yeah.
I mean, at our church, we're lucky to get 15% active
We're doing what we
members.
can to
We're
get everybody
encouraging them.
involved.
We are encouraging them, inviting them to help out.
I want to talk a little bit about the meetings. So you have meetings.
Please.
We meet the second Tuesday of each month, with the exception of July and August. And we meet in conference room A at the hospital. The doors are open. We welcome people to come. We're lucky enough that we have had right along Ed Kelly and Frank come in and talk to the group for a little while, kind of tell everybody what's going on with the hospitals, so we get a little inside
For
information.
50 grand, warm blankets, remote control, they should come in and
Yeah.
talk.
They keep us posted. They do.
And Martin Richmond and Kelly C are there, so and then
From the foundation.
in the foundation. I periodically try to have different speakers from the hospital come in and talk about what their department is doing, and so that everybody's more in tune to what's going on at the hospital too. So it's,
Yeah, as Andra says, the meetings are open to anyone, but we also have a membership night. This year it'll be in November, middle of November. It'll be an afternoon, late afternoon, early evening event where we advertise a lot further for more members.
But now,
Again,
Mike, if I want to help out the medical center, but I don't really have a ton of time, are there programs where I can come in to help with one thing or two things?
Absolutely.
Absolutely.
I don't have to commit to being there. Well, it's only once a month anyway, but I don't have to commit to being there.
No.
Well, she's talked about the lobby sales, and we have raffle ticket sales at lunchtime, certainly in the cafeteria there, but we also sell little raffle tickets in the evenings, and that's an opportunity for people who do work during the day to come in and participate in supporting our
I
lobby
would think
sales.
that'd be the hardest thing. Like when I was commuting to Brighton, to Boston, if I want to leave at, 5:30, 45 minutes, I had my coffee, I was in the lab. Anytime after 7 till about 10, it was an hour and 45 minutes.
Sure.
Right.
So it's
Right.
great that I'll be at your meeting for an hour, but then I don't know that I can take another hour and a half out of the day.
Right, and I understand that. And we have a lot of members that, when he said active, that are very involved more mentally, but they do what they can because they're still working full-time too. So they have, for example, at Taste of Towns, they're saying, well, on a Saturday I could go get a few raffles, or maybe I know somebody that would help sponsor, that type of thing.
So it's just like donations. If you can give $1, give $1. If you can give 10,
Right.
Right.
you know, if you can give a
Right.
few million,
Absolutely.
that's okay
Whatever
too.
you can. Yeah, whatever. And
Yeah.
as far as the raffles, we have a good group going out there.
Yeah, a lot
for
of people
raffles.
doing it.
So a lot of our members do that.
One of our best members works during the day, but as Andra said, she goes out on Saturdays and Sundays and knocks on doors. She's collected over 20 items for raffle baskets.
Or they can help out at the gift shop or
Absolutely.
anything.
Yeah. We could have a guy at the gift shop too at night. 4 to 7, see, that's not good hours for some working people. But,
No, but I mean, you got teachers, you got people who are done at 3 o'clock in the afternoon, that if they could put in a 4 to 6 or something every so often, that would kill people who work 9 to 5 or 8 to 5.
right, there's something for everyone. I mean, we could find something for you.
Not everybody likes to go out and ask for a raffle or something. That's not their
No, a
thing.
lot of
But
times
if they sit and
groveling
could
for
sell a
dollars is
ticket,
hard.
They may
yeah,
sit at the table and sell some tickets with a friend. There's usually 2, depends on the person. I mean, I go out, I don't mind sitting there alone, but some people like to have someone else with them.
Well, some of the events, there's always setting up, tearing down,
Yeah.
cleaning
Yeah.
up,
Yeah.
Those kinds of things
Those
where
things
you
are
don't have to.
happening. Like
Even-
Taste of the
knock on
Towns, that will
doors.
happen.
yeah, for Taste of Towns, the night before, we go in and decorate the tables, set the chairs up, get everything ready. But then at the end of the evening, some of those things have to be packaged, plates, extra things that
into
we
carts
have,
to take
go into
home.
carts and
We got to find a
cartons.
place to leave all the extra supplies that we have left over
For next year.
for next year. So we have to pack them in someone's SUV or
And you
whatever.
get such a variety of food.
Yes, yes. But that's part of when I call the restaurants, I ask, do you need any supplies? And if you do you need a plate? Do you need a bowl? Do you need a spoon? Do you need a fork? Most of them bring their own, but there are some that will say, yes, that would be a big help to me.
Well, the thing I enjoyed was there are a number of restaurants that, we kind of looked at.
I just thought of the one restaurant I didn't include was the hospital.
Ah.
They're one of
right,
our
the
restaurants, not
cafeteria.
the medical center. They also,
We just went downstairs today to get food.
yeah.
Oh, yeah.
It's
great.
Yeah, the food is
So I
It was
didn't mean
actually
to-
very good.
They,
Yes.
they do.
That
They
They
had
was
have-
one-
salad down there. And
Yeah,
they
I
have
just
a
didn't
good
mean to
menu.
forget them.
Oh, yeah, right.
No, but sometimes you hear about, Stone's Restaurant. Okay, do I want to take a chance
Right.
Yeah,
and
sure.
commit, one of the few nights that we can get out? But it was so much easier when I got to go over there and nibble and nosh.
And then you say, oh, I'd like to go there.
I like this one. That
Pretty
one's
Yeah.
okay, but ooh,
Yeah.
let's go try that one.
Right.
And I would imagine that's the
That's
real
the point.
motivation.
That's the point, I think, yeah.
Yeah.
As these restaurants now get exposure to more and more people.
Sure, yeah. Places, like you said, places that you wouldn't know until you
Well, I mean,
taste it.
you hear about them,
Yeah,
or even
yeah.
places that I never heard of. It's like, who are you? Where?
Right. Right.
You have two caterers that come, right?
Yeah.
I mean, they give great exposure.
J&L, right?
J&L.
Yeah,
J&L.
J&L and Dinner and Company.
Yeah.
But even Hannaford, I was totally shocked
Yeah.
to say, supermarket?
Yeah.
Why is a supermarket here?
Right. Right.
But yet, they had really neat stuff.
Yeah.
They do good
Yeah.
stuff, they do.
Yeah.
What can people do if they want to get involved? Do they How do we find the auxiliary? Do we just call the hospital
Call
and say?
the hospital and they'll put you right through to probably the foundation office. We have an auxiliary number, and I wish I had it with me, but I don't remember it. But you can get it by calling the hospital.
But if you get to Martin's crew,
Oh, yeah,
Yeah,
they'll
exactly.
pass it on.
There is, like everything else, a website
Yeah.
through the foundation that's dedicated to the auxiliary, and it does list all the events and such.
so I can just Google the Milford Regional Medical Center.
Mm-hmm.
Then once I'm there, look for the foundation.
Right, and then
For the
under that is
Auxiliary, there's an
auxiliary.
auxiliary.
Or if you're old like me, I just call the hospital and say,
Say-
I want this.
That's right.
Right.
I have money I want to give you.
Yeah.
And somehow I don't think they've ever not taken care of me.
That's right.
And
That's
once you get
right.
into Martin's area, for sure they'll help you.
Oh, no. Yeah.
We have a lot of other things that go on in the course of the year, too. We do a lot of lobby sales where outside vendors will come in. And we have uniforms, which is really one of the big things for the hospital staff, because so many of them don't get a chance to go out shopping and to
Oh,
have
for
all
the
these.
scrubs and all?
Yes, yes. My granddaughter was working for a dentist this year, and she's like, I need a uniform, and we're having a sale. So Grandma took her there, and she bought a few outfits, but she was thrilled. This week, we're going to have a jewelry, fine jewelry. Jewelry is so nice. It's guaranteed for life. It's
That's
really
Thursday.
good quality.
Clogs.
And
Clogs
clogs.
are coming, clogs.
I love my
shoes.
clogs, and books are fun. So we do different things
Right,
throughout
shoes
the
for
year.
the nursing and doctor staff. Yeah.
Well, like always, you look at what's available here at the center of the universe. The medical center is amazing. But like many places, no matter how much they try and do, there's always room. Little things like, I'll admit it, my mother's legs being cold, all of a sudden getting a warm blanket. Me not having to hit that remote control 91 times. There's a lot of things that really make the visit to the medical center a little more pleasant, a little easier, and keep the tension down. So we thank everybody that helps our hospital, our
Absolutely.
medical center. And as always, just call the Milford Medical Center, ask for the auxiliary, they'll get you there. Go on the website, anything you can do, whether it's donating $1, whether it's buying a great set of meals for $30 at Taste of the Towns. 6 o'clock, the 10th, at the Portuguese Club. Guaranteed a great time. So as always, may God bless, good night, and may tomorrow be a better night than tonight. Thank you.
Thank you.
Thank
Thank
you.
you.
Not too long since I've been home. Been running all my life just searching for my soul. Not too long since I've been home. Been running all my life just searching for my soul.